Welcome back to Indie FPS You Need To Play, Episode 2, the series where I hope to introduce you to some of the best indie games out there. Yes, I know it's been a while since the last episode, shut up, I've been busy, let's get into it. This channel's focus is to bring attention to some of the best indie games out there, so if you enjoy the video, please leave a like, it really does help me out a lot, and make sure to subscribe for more videos exactly like this. Starting off this list very strongly, we've got a game called Turbo Overkill. This is for fans of games like Overkill, Proteus, and every fast-paced boomer shooter basically. Turbo Overkill is a brutally fast, action-focused first-person shooter that's set in a dystopian, cyberpunk-inspired world called Paradise City, and it's quickly become one of my favourite games this year. Turbo Overkill does a brilliant job at implementing all the traditional aspects of a boomer shooter, but twisting them in a way that makes it completely unique and stand out from the rest. There is so much mechanical depth and just pure dumb fun in this game that it makes it an absolute joy from start to finish. One of the things that tend to make boomer shooters a little dull for me sometimes is the generic arsenal you see in every one of them. You know, the shotgun, super shotgun, rocket launcher, etc, etc. Turbo Overkill has all of them, but the game makes such great use of all of them in their own unique way that I never felt bored using them. Take a guess at what the minigun's secondary fire mode is. Go on, tell me, take a guess right now.
Shit, I don't even know.
It's a fucking flamethrower. Even your starter pistols are straight out of Titanfall, and later on you can charge them up to form a massive hand cannon. You've got heat-seeking rockets in your arm and a chainsaw for a fucking leg. The level design has great flow, sight lines, it has great arenas, fun platforming. I love the aesthetic of all these levels. The enemy design is fun and challenging, and on the higher difficulties you can get your ass handed to you in a split second. Turbo Overkill is a game that would probably be my game of the year if it wasn't for Proteus. Proteus takes that with the skin of its teeth. Turbo Overkill is available on Steam for around $30 and it's well worth your time and money. It currently has 2 episodes out which can run you anywhere from 4 to 8 hours playtime depending on if you want to perfect every level and look for secrets. There's challenging boss fights, a bunch of community made levels and secret levels to unlock also. Give it a try, it's well worth your time.
My bill.
Changing tone here for a moment, let's take a look at another brilliant and, for the most part, underrated retro-style FPS called Fashion Police Squad. Fashion Police Squad is a light-hearted and comedic take on the boomer shooter franchise, often poking fun at stereotypes within the genre and references to pop culture. Your mission is to uncover the secret that is plaguing the city of Trendopolis with fashion no-nos such as socks and sandals, loose suits, and even the dreaded flame t-shirt. What's unique about Fashion Police Squad is its way of blending light-hearted fun with a fast-paced and action-packed experience by forcing you to learn which weapons to use on certain enemies because each enemy requires a specific method in order to take them down. So just as a quick example, you'll need to use the To Die For, which is this game's iteration of a shotgun, to dye the clothes of the dull suit guys, and also to drain the fluoro color from the scooter douchebags. Some enemies require a combo of weapons too, so some might need you to hit them with the secondary fire of your machine gun, which is just an automatic sewing machine, and then hit them with the primary fire. This mechanic is a brilliant way to keep the player engaged with the entirety of the game's arsenal, whilst also creating a decent enough challenge to the point where you need to prioritize your targets when you enter an arena, and pay attention to what works against the different bosses in the game, which often reflect a combination of enemies you've already encountered. Fashion Police Squad has a fluid movement system, incredibly fun platforming sections, engaging combat, huge arsenal of weapons, and an overall very unique experience. It's available on Steam for around $30, and I'm confident you haven't played a game like this before. Coming in at number 3, we have a game called Voidborn. It's a brand new, fast-paced roguelike shooter that currently has a demo on Steam with a planned early access release in 2023, if I'm not mistaken. What stood out to me most with Voidborn was its art design and level design. I'm a huge fan of roguelikes, and from the moment I saw Voidborn's art style, I was super interested in checking this one out, and I love the color contrast between your guns and the surrounding archaic, almost medieval structures. If you're familiar with roguelikes, then the concept of this game is going to be pretty straightforward. You're going to have to fight your way through rooms which get progressively more difficult, get power-ups and abilities, upgrade your weapons, and defeat bosses at the end of each stage. We're pretty limited in the demo in terms of what weapons you can get, etc, but from my time playing it, I can definitely see the future potential here, so that's why Voidborn has made this list. The movement is smooth, although I'd personally like to move a little bit faster. The weapons feel great to shoot, and the enemy design is cool. I'm really looking forward to where this game will go in the future, and it's definitely one you should keep your eye on. You can play the demo right now on Steam, and make sure to wishlist it so you know when it fully releases. Next up, we've got a game called Severed Steel. Severed Steel is an intense single-player FPS featuring a stylish movement system which consists of backflips, wall running, diving, sliding, slide kicking. It has a completely destructible environment, bullet time slow motion, and a huge variety of weapons. Each level will have you doing something different whilst also fighting off relentless enemies that will stop at nothing to take you down, but what's unique and most importantly fun about Severed Steel is its combat system and the importance on not getting hit. So the way it works is that as long as you are doing a stunt, so as long as you are wall running, diving, sliding, etc, the enemies won't be able to hit you, which is a brilliant way of making the movement system viable and not just a gimmick within the game. Because the moment you stop moving is the moment you die, because you can only get hit 3 to 4 times. Severed Steel's movement system is one I have come to love and crave in every shooter going forward. I'm a massive movement guy, so if a game has bad movement, it almost entirely kills the game for me, and that's the very reason why I was initially hesitant to check this game out, but I'm thankful it completely blew me away on how smooth and responsive everything is. Everything about this game is so satisfying to execute, and I can't stress that enough. It also just introduced a roguelike mode, which is a massive addition and helps this game have essentially infinite replayability. So pick up a shotgun, shoot someone in the face, and have some of the most wildest fun you'll ever have in a video game. Severed Steel is available on PC and consoles, and it's going to cost you around $35. Coming up next, we have a brutally difficult, gory, crunchy, and dark retro-styled shooter called INCISION. And when I say this game is hard, it's gonna kick your The first time I played this game, I wasn't prepared for how hard it was going to be, and I got my cheeks handed to me, which is great. The difficulty suits the tone of the game wonderfully, and the aesthetic of each level is grotesque, slimy, gory, bloody, and dark, which really makes you feel every kill you get on the huge variety of enemies in this game. The weapon design is unique, the sound design is chef's kiss. I'd buy this game for the simple fact you can do this with your revolver. Nah, but seriously, INCISION does a lot of things right. The level design and pacing is excellently crafted. You won't feel like it's dragging on too long, and you won't feel overwhelmed either. And something I wish more shooters would do is implement a life system, or checkpoint system I guess, the way this game does. So when you die, that's it. You have to start the level again unless you have extra lives, which in that case, the moment you die, you're instantly brought back so there isn't any downtime, and you don't have to redo a section of the map or anything. This really helps in keeping the action going and further incentivizes the player to search for these extra lives, which is really fortunate because if you're into this whole evil and gross aesthetic, you'll really want to explore and uncover all the cool little details in the world. INCISION's movement did throw me off a little at first, so when you jump you're very floaty and have a lot of aerial control, which is great, don't get me wrong, but I didn't picture it in this type of game if that makes sense. Much like I wasn't expecting advanced movement in a game like Cultic, although I love the movement, it just threw me personally off guard a little bit. So if you're looking for a brutal, gory and difficult game to play, then definitely check out INCISION on Steam. It's going to run you about $20. So that wraps up episode 2 of Indie FPS games you need to play, and there are plenty more on the way. We'll take a look at even more in the next episode, and maybe I'll throw in some honorable mentions that aren't exactly FPS games. Until then, thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, then you're doing the most in helping this video be seen. See you in the next one.